Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Happy day today. Happy day to you today. We are going to look in the series again in the book of Psalms, and we are going to look this week under the caption in the Psalms part 1, and the memory verse is coming to us from Revelation 14 verse 1. It says, "Then I looked, and behold, a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads." That's coming to us from Revelation 14, verse 1. And sometimes the question is asked, are these literal 144,000 persons, or are they symbolic? We are going to find out that as we study further into the lesson. Today's subcaption is Our High Priest. Our High Priest. When Moses oversaw the construction of the tabernacle, he was not permitted to use just any design he wished. God gave him a blueprint to follow. See to it that you make them according to the pattern which was shown you on the mountain. That's Exodus 25, verse 40. We discover in the book of Hebrews that the pattern used was that of a higher reality, the heavenly sanctuary. And I'm going to read now Hebrews chapter 9, verses 11 to 15 as we follow. It says, But Christ being come and high but Christ being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctify to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from the this word cut off my Bible. I think it's death. Oh, not sure. Works to serve the living. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. And I'm going to look at it again and tell you what the word is. And that's Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. And I think it is in verse 14. It's Revelation 14, verse 1. All right, so in the meantime, as I will wait on it to pop up, it says here, read Hebrews 9, verse 11 to 15, about Christ as our high priest in heaven's sanctuary. What does this teach us about what he's doing for us? What does this teach us? After we would have listened to the reading from the Bible, what does this teach us about what he is doing for us? Here we see that he is going to prepare a tabernacle for us where we will dwell, not made with hands. And so we see that the earthly sanctuary that was given to Moses was a foreshadow or a shadow of what the reality would be. Because in Revelation, it spoke to the Israel that Jesus would be that light. So there would be no sun. So Jesus would be that light or that sun, so to speak, that would shine for us. He would be the tabernacle. What a scene, eh? That when we go to heaven, we would not see a literal temple building. But what would be there is so symbolical of what is the exact building, the sanctuary building that would be on earth. So the earthly sanctuary foreshadowed Jesus in an astonishing detail, from the priest and the offerings to the furniture and other design details. All of it speaks of Jesus. So I'm going to run back to Hebrews 9 verse 14, And it says, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serving the living God. So that word there is dead. So the book of Revelation, of course, is very rich in sanctuary imagery. We find the sanctuary, the lampstand in the opening verses, the Ark of the Covenant, explicitly mentioned in chapter 4, and the numerous other allusions to the temple. Without an understanding of the Old Testament sanctuary, it becomes impossible to grasp what John is driving at in his description of his visions. The experiences of Israel, Paul writes, happened to them as examples, and they were written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. And that's coming to us from 1 Corinthians 10, verse 11. There is much we can learn from studying the details of the temple, of course. In the book of Psalms, we find an important component for understanding some of these details, how God's people personally related to the temple. We catch glimpses of how David related to the sanctuary and its services, and we see the heart response of God's people to what the Messiah would do for them. It is not just the patterns that help us see Jesus. We also can mine the personal experiences of those who understood what God was teaching us through the sanctuary and draw lessons for ourselves and for our own experiences with God. Our high priest, Jesus Christ, he is the one that died so that we might have life. He is the one that is in heaven interceding on our behalf. He is the one that is in heaven who is forgiving us of our sins and our shortcomings. He is the one that is going to declare this world, and he is the one that is going to take us to heaven, our high priest. So as you read Psalm 122, though we cannot go literally to the earthly house of the Lord, it's not there. And even if one were built in the same place, it would be meaningless. What elements are found in this psalm that can encourage us about what Christ has done for us? Notice the themes of peace, security, praise, and the judgment. Listen, what we know will be there will be peace. Peace for us and peace with us forevermore. So as you read the book of Psalm 122, dissect it, line upon line, precepts upon precepts, and you will see how much Jesus has gone to prepare that place for us. We will not have to be fussing and fighting over space. We will have everything at our own fingertip. We will have the 12 fruits of the tree where we can pick at any time at our disposal. We will see Jesus himself, and we will have that opportunity where we can talk with him, discuss matters, questions that we had on earth, we can unearth with the Lord. And so he will give us the answer to all our troubled questions, all the perplexities that we had on this earth, that we were wondering, how does this happen? How does this come into existence? There we know that Jesus is there willing, ready, waiting on us to make our way to heaven, only if we live for him and if we trust him. So as we watch this video, let us continue to study the word and more. And until in another of the series, we'll come to you another time on the caption, On Mount Zion. On Mount Zion. That's another captivating theme that we are going to open and discuss. So until then, continue to discuss the word and more. I'll see you then.